This podcast is a work of historical interpretation. While we strive for accuracy, some aspects of history are open to interpretation and debate. Thank you for listening. Welcome to Time Tellers, the podcast that delves deep into the lesser-known figures who shaped history and stories that shaped history. Today, we explore the extraordinary lives of three brilliant African-American women, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughn, and Mary Jackson, who played critical roles in NASA's early space missions. These women were known as human computers, and they performed complex calculations that made space travel possible. They overcame barriers of segregation and gender discrimination in the 1960s. Welcome to March, Women's History Month. Yeah, because this will be the March episode, right? March 4th? Yeah.
Is that Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday's March 4th?
Uh-huh.
You mean John Philip Sousa Day?
Oh my gosh. March 4th.
That's what matters.
Obviously. Their stories remained in the shadows for decades, only gaining widespread recognition after Margot Lee Shatterley published the book Hidden Figures. Using direct quotes from the book, first-hand accounts, and historical context, we will uncover how they changed the course of American space exploration and civil rights. And often, I have my students read this book. We did not this year, because pretty much all the students I have right now are the same ones I had last year. So, they already read it. No. I teach 3 grade levels.
Oh, I thought you made them all repeat.
We don't have that ability, really.
Oh.
Before NASA was established, its predecessor, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, known as NACA, played a crucial role in aeronautical research. Founded in 1915, NACA worked on aviation advancements, including developing the first wind tunnels, improving aircraft design. However, with the advent of the Cold War and the launch of the Soviet Union's Sputnik satellite in 1953, the United States recognized the need for a dedicated space program. So, in 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, officially forming NASA.
The precursor to SpaceX.
I was waiting for something. I was waiting for you to say something.
Something.
So, for all those who may not know, Dwight D. Eisenhower was the 34th U.S. president from 1953 to 1961. He led the nation through post-World War II prosperity and into the Cold War tensions. Domestically, he expanded Social Security, enforced school desegregation, and initiated the interstate highway system. In foreign policy, he sought to contain communism, end the Korean War, support South Vietnam, and implement the Eisenhower Doctrine to aid Middle Eastern nations.
Are you going to explain to us the Middle Eastern Doctrine, or the Eisenhower Doctrine?
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
This is Women's History Month.
So there's no women in the Middle East that need help?
As he left office, he famously warned, I got it this time, against the growing power of the military-industrial complex. This from a military officer. And helped shape future U.S. policies on defense and governance. This new agency, NASA, absorbed NACA's research centers and personnel, including the West Area Computing Unit, where Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughn, and Mary Jackson worked. This transition began America's commitment to space exploration and technological advancement. So NASA, of course, became the center of innovation, and their main goal was to beat the Soviets in the space race. So let's talk about this space race. The space race, which lasted for about 1957 to 1969, was a Cold War-era competition between the United States and the Soviet Union to achieve dominance in space exploration. It began when the USSR launched Sputnik 1 in 1957. This satellite shocked and scared the United States. The Soviets initially led with milestones like Laika, the first animal in orbit, and Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space.
Is Laika the one that they just set up and left up there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just
I
checking.
think. No, I think it did. Well,
Laika was the dog, right?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
And they didn't survive. Dog didn't survive. I don't think.
Was it the chimps that they just set up and just...
Oh, God. The U.S. responded by creating NASA and started ambitious programs like Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. The race, of course, culminated in 1969 when U.S. landed Apollo 11 on the moon, marking a symbolic victory in technological and ideological superiority.
The moon was the name of a soundstage at Elstree Studios.
No, it wasn't. We're better than you, Dan and a boo-boo. That's what the United States did in July of 1969.
Oh, they had to do something to make up for Vietnam.
You're not wrong. Throughout these missions, human computers like Johnson, Vaughn, and Jackson were crucial in ensuring accurate calculations for astronaut safety and mission success. While exact overall numbers are not readily available, it is known that by 1946, the Langley Research Center had recruited about 400 female human computers, including nearly 80 black women. Despite their behind-the-scenes work, their contributions laid this foundation for NASA's triumphs, including the moon landing.
The moon landing filming.
Oh, my God.
At least I'm putting it in a spot where I can cut it easy.
But will you? Probably not.
Yes. I still remember, what was that, episode 3, when we were discussing the Earth being flat?
And
you
and then I pushed you off of it.
And then you had to specify the Earth was round.
Born during the era of segregation, Katherine, Dorothy, and Mary faced systematic racism and gender barriers that made it difficult for African Americans, especially women, to excel in STEM fields. Let's talk about Katherine first here real quick. She was born in 1918 in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She was a math prodigy. She attended high school by the age of 10 and later enrolled in West Virginia State College, earning degrees in mathematics and French at age 18. In 1939, she became one of the first black students to integrate into West Virginia University's graduate programs. Her brilliance was evident early on, but opportunities were scarce for black women in the sciences. Dorothy Vaughn was born in 1910 in Kansas City, Missouri. She was a valedictorian of her high school class. She earned a mathematics degree from Wilberforce University. She began teaching before joining NACA in 1943 as a mathematician. She quickly became known for her leadership skills and advocacy for other black women in STEM. Mary Jackson was born in 1921 in Hampton, Virginia. She attended Hampton Institute, earning degrees in mathematics and physical science. She initially worked as a teacher before also joining NACA in 1951. Despite her talent, she had to petition the city of Hampton for permission to attend classes at an all-white school in order to qualify for an engineering position. At NASA's Langley Research Center, they worked in the segregated West Area Computing Unit, a department for black female mathematicians separate from their white counterparts. Despite the separation, we were given work equal to everyone else, is a quote from Katherine Johnson when she recalled in an interview. However, they were often overlooked for promotions and, of course, had to fight for every opportunity. Katherine Johnson's calculations were critical to NASA's space missions. She played a crucial role in analyzing the trajectory of Alan Shepard's 1961 flight, the first American in space, that being Alan Shepard. However, her most significant contribution was during John Glenn's 1962 orbital mission. John Glenn famously said, "If she says the numbers are good, I'm ready to go," before his Friendship 7 flight. He refused to trust the IBM computer calculations over Catherine's. Her calculations ensured the spacecraft's safe reentry, making her an indispensable part of the mission.
Couldn't they have just asked ChatGPT?
Right? Be a lot easier. Dorothy Vaughn, realizing that the machine computers would soon replace human ones, self-taught and mastered Fortran, an early programming language. This ensured that she and her team remained essential to NASA. She became the first Black supervisor at Langley and advocated for other women in the workforce. Vaughn was instrumental in transitioning NASA from human computers to digital computation, ensuring that Black women remained a vital part of the space program, and probably women in general. But yes, especially Black women. Mary Jackson pushed the boundaries further by transitioning from a human computer to an engineer. After she fought to attend night classes at the all-white school, she became NASA's first Black female engineer in 1958. She would later work in programs to promote diversity. Said the D word. Diversity in STEM, mentoring young women, and fighting for workplace equity.
Did the term STEM even exist yet?
Gosh, I said the E word.
Yeah, you did say equity too, but I mean, was STEM a commonly used term still at this point? Or is that...
No, not at this point, no. This is just...
Yeah.
That's a term that was maybe 10 years old. Longer.
Can you remind our listeners what that stands for?
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Just making sure.
That I know
so when people listen to this in 20 years,
Right.
They know what you're talking about.
Mary worked tirelessly to create opportunities for women at NASA, leaving a lasting impact on that organization. So we're talking the 1960s, right? Right? You have hippies, but we also have...
Good music.
Good music.
Free love.
And the consequences of that. But however, we also have a president.
Hey, who doesn't want hugs?
Who's the president? Kennedy. President John F. Kennedy played a pivotal role in America's space race, making the moon landing a national goal. In his famous 1962 speech at Rice University, he declared, quote, "We choose to go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard."
I thought it was just because it's there. Oh, wait, that's Mount Everest.
His administration also made strides towards racial equality, pushing for civil rights reforms that impacted these women's opportunities at NASA. Kennedy's vision for space exploration and racial progress was inextricably linked. Katherine Johnson later reflected, quote, "What he did in civil rights made it easier for us to push through at NASA," end quote. The civil rights movement and the space race were coinciding, challenging outdated norms and advocating for progress. But as we know, JFK did not, unfortunately, last through his term. So, unfortunately, JFK is assassinated in Dallas in 1963. So, let's have Robert Kennedy. Let's talk about him for a second.
Yeah.
Robert F. Kennedy indirectly supported NASA by advocating for his brother John F. Kennedy's vision for space exploration. As Attorney General, he helped secure political and congressional backing for the Apollo program, reinforcing its importance in the Cold War. After JFK's assassination, RFK continued to champion the space program, ensuring his brother's moon landing goal remained a national priority. As a U.S. Senator, he supported science, technology, and education funding, contributing to NASA's workforce and innovation. His influence helped sustain momentum for Apollo, ultimately helping lead to the 1969 moon landing. Which we can do a whole episode on just the moon landing. This is supposed to be more about the women.
Oh, we're going to do the whole Apollo program and the whole Mercury program and the whole Gemini
are you going to write those episodes? Following the 1969 moon landing, all three women continued to shape NASA's history. Katherine Johnson worked for the Space Shuttle program and Mars missions, calculating up until she retired in 1986. In 2015, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And in 2020, NASA renamed its headquarters after her, cementing her legacy in aerospace history. Dorothy Vaughn retired in 1971, but left behind a legacy of mentorship for women and minorities in STEM. She dedicated her career to ensuring that future generations had the tools to succeed in an ever-evolving technological landscape. Mary Jackson transitioned to NASA's Equal Opportunity Specialist Division and advocated for women and minorities until her retirement. She spent decades pushing for policy changes to help women and minorities gain equal footing in STEM fields. And I know Katherine Johnson just died in 2023.
Yeah, I was going to say it's fairly recent.
I can't remember.
It was definitely after the movie.
Yeah, she was there for the premiere. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, she died in 2020. Yeah, she was 98 years old. But she was alive when that movie came out. And Dorothy Vaughn died in 2008. Not sure about Mary Jackson, though, offhand. They all lived very long lives, which is always nice to see. Their contributions weren't just about space travel. Of course, they paved the way for future generations. Johnson once humbly stated, "We never thought about being pioneers. We were just doing our jobs." Their perseverance and dedication have inspired countless young scientists and engineers to pursue careers in space exploration. I will learn how to speak one of these days.
Not if I'm editing, you won't.
Yeah, but who'll edit out that sentence?
No, I won't.
Probably not, no. So let's talk about the movie. This is a very good movie. It's part of the reason we read the book in my class, because it's always good to entice them with the movie afterwards. Plus, we do it in February and March normally, so we have Black History Month and Women's History Month, and it all merges together, and then the science teacher can do something, and the math teacher can do it. It's cross-curriculum. Yes, we get the popcorn, too. Cross-curriculum for any of our educators out there.
Well, you still can.
Theodore Melfi directed the 2016 film Hidden Figures, which brought the incredible stories of Catherine, Dorothy, and Mary to the big screen. That was based, of course, on Margot Lee Shatterley's book, the same name. The film starred Tarja P. Henson as Katherine Johnson, Octavia Spencer as Dorothy Vaughn, and Janelle Monáe as Mary Jackson. And one of my favorites, Kevin Costner, was in there. Oh, he's rolling his eyes.
Sorry, after he had to ruin the only good Robin Hood movie.
Well, this has been a fun run, guys.
Robin Hood and Prince of Thieves. Don't you think Robin Hood would be English? Or at least be able to hold the accent for more than two scenes and then switch back to an American one?
You probably don't like Waterworld either, do you?
No, I actually do like Waterworld. A lot of people seem to hate it, but
I know.
I thought it was a decent movie.
I like it. I mean, Kirsten Dunst is also, and of course, Jim Parsons. Yeah. I always forget he's in it.
Kirsten Dunst was also a dick. And Dunstan checks in.
I always forget Jim Parsons in this movie until he pops up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sheldon.
He's not a real scientist.
He certainly acts like it. What do you mean? I think he is.
Yeah?
I'm kidding.
Other people act important, and you know how that goes.
I didn't say important, I said scientist.
I know. Are you saying scientists aren't important?
Yes, they can be. The movie was both a critical and commercial success, grossing over $236 million worldwide, and only had a $25 million budget. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actress for Octavia Spencer. The film won the Screen Actor Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. One of the most compelling aspects of the movie was its attention to historical detail. Of course, there is some deviance, like Kevin Costner's character does not actually take down the colored sign. From what I understand, Katherine Johnson just ignored it and went to the restrooms that were closest to where she worked. But it made for a good movie.
I'm pretty sure the people working in NASA wouldn't care.
I mean, technically it was Virginia, it was segregated, so they had to...
Well,
yeah.
But there was only the workers in there, so...
Right, yeah. Somebody would have had to report her using the wrong bathroom. I see what you're saying.
And somehow prove it.
Yeah. It captured the challenges of segregation in NASA and the crucial contributions of Black women to the space program. Of course, no creative liberties were taken. In fact, not only was Kevin Costner's character not take down that sign, he was also not a specific person. He was a composite of several NASA managers rather than a single historical figure. So let's just talk about some fun facts about this movie. Katherine Johnson, who was 98 years when the movie premiered, attended the White House screening and later received a standing ovation at the Oscars. Oh, and this is where I had the point where I said the scene where Al Harrison knocks down the colored lady's bathroom sign. It's just dramatization, as Johnson herself simply ignored the segregated restrooms and used the closest facilities. NASA itself hosted a special screening for Hidden Figures for its employees. That'd be kind of cool, and probably their families, recognizing the story's importance in inspiring future generations. Always fun.
Yeah.
The film Hidden Figures not only educated audiences on the significant contribution of these women, but also reignited conversations about representation of Black women in STEM fields and women in STEM fields in general. It served as a cultural milestone, proving that stories of resilience and brilliance that rhyme, they have to rhyme, deserve to be told and celebrated. Because again, this is another one of those stories where people just didn't know about it. They had no clue. And like, we get so many of these stories, especially since a lot of these women started during World War II. So you have all the war effort, that all this stuff that comes out later, decades later. This is kind of like that, and a lot of it was classified or just not known. The figures of NASA remind us that history often overlooks its true heroes. Their names are now rightfully celebrated thanks to Margot Lee Shatterley book and the 2016 film. Their perseverance in the face of segregation, sexism, and limited opportunities exemplifies the resilience of Black women in America. And I would like to say also, a lot of other women in America, but definitely Black women. Yes. It's a good book. If you haven't read it, you should read it. There's a young people's edition that is a young reader's edition, but it's not like super low or nothing. You can watch the movie, of course.
Think about how different it is.
The movie and the book are pretty similar, except the book is more of a history book, where the movie has more of the narrative in it. Like, if that makes sense. Both are very well done, though. I enjoy them both. Yeah. So, thank you for tuning into Time Tellers. If you enjoyed this episode, we are going to have some more coming up. We're going to have some shorts or mini tinies, whatever we're calling them nowadays, about...
Yeah, you keep changing them.
about some, with some quick biographies on some women in American history.
Yay.
Dan's super excited. I'm also starting to work on an episode about women in reporting fields and how, like Nellie Fly and Christine Amanpour, all that good stuff. Breaking barriers everywhere. So send us in an idea of something you want to talk about, a woman you want to hear about for this month. Not that we're anti-men. We're not. It's just it is Women's History Month. They get the other 11 months. So we're looking forward to hearing from everybody.
Except for me.
We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Blue Sky. We have our email at timetellershistory@gmail.com.
And the website.
Oh, the website. The website is timetellershistory.com.
Yes.
The email is timetellerspodcast@gmail, right? I think. I could be wrong.
I don't remember. You set that up.
I did. I'm pretty sure it's timetellers.pod. Oh, gosh. I don't know.
Just use the contact form on the website.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way.
Or join our Patreon and talk to us that way.
That too. Yeah, we've got... Oh, and yes, it is the month of the Irish, and I am Irish, and I'm super excited for that, so we will definitely be doing some Irish stuff. Yay! You can't see Dan's face right now, but he's annoyed. And I'm super excited.
Yeah, and you don't even have Guinness.
Well, not yet, but I will. So, see
Or
y'all
Shamrock
later.
Shake.
I don't like the Shamrock Shakes.
With Bailey's.
Maybe. Okay, so I'm signing off. I'm saying goodbye. I feel like I'm missing something. Did I forget something?
Depends on if you're doing current events or not.
No. Oh, Gene Hackman died. Rest in peace. Michelle Trachtenberg died from Buffy. That's very sad. Roberta Flack.
You mean from Eurotrip?
Yes, from Eurotrip.
And
all very sad. Huh?
And Pete and Pete.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, Harriet the Spy.
Oh, who cares about that? Eurotrip's the movie that matters there.
That is they always happen in threes, and I'm not trying to make it flippant. It's very sad. Very sad.
Who's the third?
Roberta Flack.
Who's that?
A singer? She was older. She wrote Bee Gees' song. Oh my gosh.
Oh, back when none of the artists wrote their own music.
I'm having a brain fart, but so yeah, that's all sad. That's some news, and at last I heard the Pope is still hanging on.
Yeah.
They were practicing his funeral, though, which seems very morbid to me. Shout out to Morbid. If anybody likes true crime, go listen to their podcast. It's amazing.
Oh, you should just go listen to The Good Death.
Okay.
Or Cold Hands Host. One of those two.
So today, just in case, something happens to the Pope, is the 27th of February. Last I knew, he was still alive. So hopefully he recovers. I don't know. You got any current news? Current events that...
No.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. We will see you all. Listen, you can hear our voices next Tuesday or possibly a Thursday episode coming up.
I don't know when we'll record that one this week.
Yeah, not sure. Have fun with that. Bye!